Welcome to day 1,800. Yes, 1,800 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting the journey. Primarily, I started out online doing a little video vlog or a little video journal of what I was doing as I transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. Spent decades in the corporate world while simultaneously at the same time working and having and growing and building my own businesses on the side, which gave me a different perspective and a different way of looking at my career and my life and the world around me. It added a level of confidence and security that I think a lot of people don't have, but every one of us can have, especially nowadays with the internet. The internet makes it possible for all of us to have an additional stream of income. So no matter what happens in the world, and believe me, we got a big dose of what can happen in the world that's crazy and unimaginable in 2020, and it's carried on to 2021 and 2022 and caused this big ripple effect of negative things. Really, it hasn't caused a whole lot. Some individuals have experienced positive things, but for the most part, the overall impact of all the nonsense that has gone on with that and what it's done to our world, especially here in America, in my opinion, is not good and not how I want to live or how most people I know want to live. So that's a topic for another day. Today, at 1800, we had a couple pieces of content that I created. One was for Supersize Your Business, and that idiom that I shared today, I like to share an idiom in there every day. Started doing it when I was moving a couple of years ago, and I just kind of kept doing it because it stuck. It was a way to do something to creatively think about the way I think about and see things as I'm building and growing my business. And I thought, well, if I'm learning that, why wouldn't I share that with the people that I am coaching and leading and helping to see their business in better in different ways and what things mean. And one of the most basic ways to do that is to ask ourselves, well, what does that mean to other people? And what has my experience with it been? And what does it actually mean to me? Or have I never even thought about it before? Because I've run across idioms in the last couple of years that I've never heard of and I've never even thought of before. Now, today's I definitely have experience with. It's things got out of control. When things go haywire, not according to plan, go off the rails, somebody gets crazy and out of control or out of hand. And I actually forgot to share, I was so excited about talking about this idiom, I forgot to share its background. It actually comes from dealing with horses, horseback riders, or people driving wagons. If they let go of the reins, the horses could go out of control and they would lose control of the horses and they could crash or have an accident or fall off the horse or whatever else, because the reins are how we control the horse. The same is true of our business and our life. The things that we plan and set in motion, the things we say and do have ramifications and results that happen, and consequences people think are negative, but consequences are just things that happen, results, and we need to know how to deal with all those. We talked about a couple of examples of how things got out of control in my life, and then what I did about them and what we need to do when things get out of control. And then our questions for today are two questions. Our first question was, is there an order to nature, or is everything just chaos and change all the time, and there's no real method to the madness of what happens in nature? And that's up for each of us to decide, and it's a good question to ponder and think about today. And then the second question I created and asked, and mine was, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned this year? In 2022, what is your biggest lesson learned? You can say so far because there's a couple of days left of the year, but I've definitely learned a lot of lessons this year, things that I maybe touched on in my past, but I really didn't get it and I didn't learn the lesson. And I shared one of those in the challenge today, what I consider one of my biggest lessons learned. And I got a big dose of it when I traveled this year and then came back. I realized that it's a lot easier to be consistent with certain things and to do them every day and tie them to different things like that we do every day anyway, like brushing our teeth or getting cleaned up in the morning, waking up, getting dressed, etc. If I do those consistently, even when I'm traveling or out of my normal routine, if I keep certain routines in play, it makes life a whole lot easier. And it's actually easier and less stressful for me personally to be consistent. So it's about your lesson learned, a lesson learned that's important to you, not to anyone else, but to you. So to me, my lesson learned was that it's very important for me personally to be consistent and do something every day. And it's a lot easier to do something every day than it is to do it for a little while and then stop, and then do it for a little while and stop. That up and down, it stresses me out, right? The unknown. So I want to control the things I can control, a lesson learned for me, and I want to let go of the things that I can't control and decide and determine how I'm going to respond to them. So that's it for today. If I can help you in any way, ask, just Voxer me or find me online. You can find me anywhere and send me a direct message. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. And I'm going to go explore and see and think about, do I think everything's chaos or that there's a reason to it all? All right, have a great day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.